Hello everyone, Dr. Pratha Gupta this side. I am a dermatology postgraduate resident in UCMS and Guru Tej Bahadur Hospital. I secured a rank of 500 in NEET PG 2024 right after completing my internship from Lady Hardinge Medical College, New Delhi. So I've recently completed 1 complete year of mentoring a lot of aspirants. And the most common problem I think a lot of us have faced during preparation phase is that, ma'am, I find it so difficult to remember everything in a better manner. It is so difficult to recall everything. Supposedly, I have read ENT today. The next day, I will get 80-90% questions correct. But 2 weeks later, my accuracy takes a massive dip. So, how to approach that? Firstly, I would like to normalize this problem of forgetfulness. It is completely okay to not have an eidetic memory. No one of us had it. This problem of forgetfulness is a major hurdle which we face in our preparation phase. But the solution is that we have to formulate a pattern of study which helps us recall and remember things in a better manner. Here at Cerebellum, hopefully, I'll be able to help you do so. So, to solve this problem of forgetting a lot of topics as we progress in time, most of us try and revisit the topic simultaneously. See, that is a very good approach, but you need to understand that you have those ginormous 19 subjects to complete. Completing this huge a syllabus is a Herculean task in its own way. And it is not easy to, read a new subject alongside revisit an older one. It is very difficult, and especially it is so hard when you are an intern, when you have a job to do this. An easier shortcut method that a lot of students are stooping to these days is going through rapid revisions and not understanding the concept behind the subject. So, firstly, you need to understand that a lot of questions that actually decide your rank on the day of the exam are conceptual based. They rely on your understanding of the topic and not your reflex spinal cord level answers. So, for getting these conceptual questions right, you need to know the basics of that topic. And that basics cannot be built on rapid revision notes. They can never be built on rapid revision notes. You can obviously read rapid revision notes once you have mastered your main notes. So, I feel these shortcut methods are not going to help you really in a very long run. So, now, how to solve this problem of forgetting things, how to remember things in a better manner. We have two basic principles which we rely on. One is active recall and the other is spaced repetition. Firstly, let's understand what is passive recall. Passive recall in plain language means simply flipping through the pages of notes without imbibing anything. For example, I am reading dermatology and you read this statement 10 times that in pemphigus vulgaris, the autoantibodies are targeted against desmoglein 1 and 3 antigens. Even after reading 10 times, on the day of the exam, you might confuse whether it was desmoglein 2, whether it was desmoglein 5. It is normal. But if you actively approach this line in a way of a question, supposedly if we learn this same fact in an active manner, in the form of a question, like what are the autoantibodies in pemphigus vulgaris? And then we answer desmoglein 1 and 3. Even if you answer this question thrice correctly, you will get it right on the day of the exam. That is the power of active recall. So the best way to do active recall is spaced repetition. What is spaced repetition? In dermatology, we have a logical part. Logical part is the part that flows, that is, easy to get to. That is something which you read once or twice, you will get it right on the day of the exam. However, the factual part is the part that hurts the most. That is difficult for your brain to remember, to recall. For example, factual difficult things like STI kits. Trust me, being a resident, after 1 year also, I can get the kits wrong. So, of course, it is very difficult for an undergraduate to get it right. But there is this spaced repetition that will help you recall these very high yielding but difficult chunks of information in a very high yielding manner. Spaced repetition heavily relies on how you recall this important chunk of information in a spaced out but in a systematic manner to yield the best outcome. Active recall and spaced repetition will actually help you build a very long-term memory. It will help you build a lot of confidence because you will know in your heart that I have done so many revisions in such a systematic manner that I know the answer has to be this and nothing else. You will not get confused on the day of the exam. No question will daunt you on the day of the exam. At Cerebellum, we have combined spaced repetition and active recall and beautifully curated 10,000 flashcards. Flashcards are very commonly and famously used for USMLE preparation. A lot of you must be familiar with what flashcards are. You know, back when I was preparing, there was no set of flashcards available to us. So I remember making flashcards on my own. But now we are cutting that time for you. We are giving you very high yielding 10,000 flashcards, which are prepared to improve you, which are prepared to improve your learning, which are prepared to add finesse to your preparation. These flashcards are very comprehensive. They encompass all the high yielding subjects, all the PYQs, all the very important topics, all the factual information that you are bound to forget on the day of the exam. And they are served in a very concise manner. Just think about it. These are just 10,000 questions of 19 ginormous subjects. And these flashcards can be inculcated and amalgamated with any resource you use for preparation, whether it is BTR, whether it is DAMS, whether it is Marrow. You can actually amalgamate these flashcards with any source of information you use for studying. Trust me, these flashcards will help you a lot with your preparation. You will develop such good confidence when you answer these flashcards correctly. At Cerebellum, we have designed flashcards in three main patterns. One is the basic flashcard, wherein first you see the question and on the back side you have the answer to it. Secondly, we have image-based flashcards so that your image-based memory is good, so that you have an idea of cross-sections, you have an idea of diagrammatic representations. Thirdly, we have fill in the blanks so that you don't get those small, very tiny bits of information wrong. At Cerebellum, we call these flashcards as codons because they are precise bits of information served to you beautifully in the most high-yielding pattern. I am pretty sure that these flashcards will help you change your game. These flashcards will get you the dream branch and the dream rank. What you need to do is solve it properly, be mindful of what you're solving, and make it a daily habit of yours to solve a custom deck of flashcards daily. Thank you.